Good morning, Holotable heroes, and welcome back to another Galaxy of Heroes video. In today's video, we are going to be covering the latest Galactic challenge featuring our bounty hunter buddies. Let's dive right in. Taking a look at the modifiers for this Galactic challenge, we are on Camino against the Jedi featuring an Old Ben lead. I remember the time he was on Camino. Proving Grounds is the global modifier, and this has essentially reduced all of our stats to basically nothing. However, we are given a event ability called Superior Training, which allows us to recover a percentage of our stats every time we use it. This plays a pivotal role in getting the feat done for this one. The player modifier is Thrill of the Hunt. We gain 9 stacks of true defense on our bounty hunter allies, which increases our levels of defense, which slowly gets chipped away each and every time we are hit. The enemy modifier is Humble Strike because the Jedi are known for being incredibly humble. Essentially, whenever buffs are dispelled on a Jedi ally during their turn, I believe, they gain advantage for 2 turns and gain stacking critical damage until the end of battle, which means eventually they will hit incredibly hard. The Feats. We need to win with a team of bounty hunters. We need to win after taking 8 turns in a row, and we also need to win after scoring at least 30 critical hits. Now, there are a few things to consider when looking at these feats. Number 1, Old Ben will generate TM whenever his allies are attacked, so trying to get 8 turns in a row can be irritating with him present. Secondly, there is a lot of foresight and a lot of crit hit immunity thanks to General Kenobi and Jolee being incredibly high as far as critical avoidance is concerned, thanks to him converting his tenacity into additional critical avoidance. However, we can get this done probably in one team, but I'm breaking it down into 2 for you. Let's take a look, shall we? So the first team is a Bosk-led bounty hunter, and I'm throwing him in with Greef, Mando, Boba Fett, and Fennec Shand. Note, Fennec Shand is not necessary in this team in the slightest. I've just thrown her in there because she provides additional attacks per turn, she provides armor shred, but honestly, you could probably do it with any other bounty hunter. Jango Fett would work, Greedo would work, Cad Bane would work, so don't get hung up if you do not have a Fennec available. As always with the bounty hunters, you want to concentrate on trying to get yourselves to contract as soon as possible. Don't worry so much about using the event special ability at the start. Now, as I said before, in order to take 8 turns in a row, we do have to do something with Old Ben. Greef is able to provide a source of days on a basic, so if you can land that on Old Ben, it does make things a little bit easier. The Frenzy from Bosk's second special, his Taunt, will provide us with additional sources of additional turns, so that is another key way for us to generate oral turns. But more importantly, when it gets down to just a few enemies left alive, it becomes a lot easier to manage that. So, as I said, you're not really going to be landing many debuffs and the such at the start, but simply focus down on getting rid of, most importantly, GK, as he has all that foresight and that crit hit immunity, but also getting rid of Old Ben so he's not constantly taking turns. Ki-Adi-Mundi can eventually develop it into a bit of a threat, seeing as though he is able to stack up all that crit damage, and our opponents will just constantly be evading attacks, thanks to General Kenobi, just passing all that foresight. Oh, there's more foresight, fantastic. Would you like any more foresight, ladies and gentlemen? Apparently not. Also, the target for which you need to hit when triggering contract might change a bit depending on who uses the event special ability on the enemy's team. But here we go, we're looking quite good now. We've hit our contract, so we're able to delete people. I believe I delete Old Ben here. I don't defeat Jolee because I actually want to drag this battle out. I'm trying to still get all of those 8 turns in a row, so I'm leaving Jolee alive in order for him to revive his allies to give me more opportunities to get those additional bonus turns. As we know, we disintegrated Old Ben, so he's not going to be coming back to life with Jolee, and Eathcoth just ate it there quite heavily. So that's 3 turns in a row. Here we go for 4 turns in a row. Here we go for 5 turns in a row. I'm not sure if this will be the whole 6 turns, 7 turns, 8 turns, 9 turns, 10 turns. Ooh, So there's all of our turns in a row. It's a lot easier once you've sort of slowed down the enemy's income. Sorry, I'm not sure what's happening with the video playback there. It's having a hard time dealing with life. It is a Monday morning. I can completely sympathize. So, yeah. Very easy to break it down when it's just left down to Jolie on his own, and that will get us almost every feat. The only one that I did not get there actually was the critical hits, but we can get that very, very easily with this second team that I'm going to go over. Let's check it out. And that team is Genosians, ladies and gentlemen. Great thing about Genosians is their swarm mechanics. Their swarm mechanics are going to be providing us with lots of opportunities to land critical hits. They also have incredibly good survivability and a moderate amount of DPS for us to deal with this. The benefit of the team that we are facing is outside of Ki-Adi-Mundi, they don't particularly have much DPS. They only have 3 tanks and Eth Koth. What is Eth Koth going to do? Anyway, the approach here is a little bit different. What I would suggest you do for this one, based on how the Genosians work, is to use the event special ability as frequently as possible, only really cleansing when you have Daze, because Daze kind of shuts down the Genosians. Again, I would recommend going for GK early on to stop his passive taunt, to stop him passing crit hit immunity, to stop him passing that incredibly irritating foresight. After which you are free to have a little bit more free reign. Just constantly use that event special ability when you have it available, unless you've got a kill shot available. So, I like to use it. I've gone for Jolie here, but I don't think it's really necessary. Obviously, you do want to get rid of Jolie, otherwise he will constantly revive the allies. And yes, that can drag out the battle in a good way or a bad way, depending on how many crits you've had. I wouldn't necessarily look at trying to count all the critical hits. There's enough swarm attacks here that you should be able to get it done, and I do believe quite firmly that this will also be able to be done by the likes of Mon Mothma, or even Imperial Troopers potentially as well. So yeah, once we get rid of GK, I believe we just go direct focus onto Jolie to get him out of there as soon as possible. But as I said, I don't think it's necessary for you to kill him immediately. If you want to try to drag this game out just a little bit longer to try and make sure you land all those critical hits, then be my guest. Here we go. You can see we've got rid of that taunt. You will have to get rid of it twice every time Old Ben taunts, because he has got the Zeta, which means he's going to regain taunt the first time he loses it. Jolie has revived GK now, so we're just back focusing on GK, then we'll swing back over to Jolie again. But honestly, like I said, they don't have enough DPS to really cause us enough issues here, and they don't use the event special ability frequently enough for them to either be tanky enough or to deal enough damage to us. And because we've been using ours quite frequently, we are quite quickly building up our max stats, which is benefiting the entire team when we do that. So yes, I found this a very, very easy way of getting all the critical hits done. I'm sure you will too. That Daze is very annoying. I'm not a fan of that AoE Daze, but what can you do? Just down to Ki-Adi-Mundi now and Old Ben, and honestly, they're not really going to pose much of a threat. Wish we weren't dazed so much. You can see how little damage we're doing. I think we're doing about 200 damage a hit there to Old Ben. He had defense up, and obviously we've lost a lot of our offensive stats. But still getting plenty of crits here. Crit from Geospy there. Crit. Lovely jubbly. So obviously the more often we use the event special ability, the higher it pushes our crit chance. So we should be able to get it done without too many issues. I also do feel that a team like CLS will absolutely be able to get this done without any issues. So if you are struggling with the Geos team, perhaps just throw in the CLS team and that will easily chew through this. Old Ben is just tanking his heart out, hoping against hope that he can somehow take on a whole swarm of Genosian enemies. But it's not going to work, is it, Old Ben? Oh dear. Goodbye there. And that will about do it for this episode of Galactically Challenged, ladies and gentlemen. I would like for you to tell me which teams you used in the comment section down below, but more importantly, Conquest has only got a couple of hours left available to it. If you haven't got your feats, check out my video series here where I go over all of the easiest teams to use to get your feats as quickly and painlessly as possible. It'll be useful for next time the event comes round in about 2 weeks' time as well. So check it out, baby. I'll see you all later. Peace out and big love.